selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dream Style Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dream Style Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Dominic Bramante, the head football coach of the Duke City Gladiators, and it's always a pleasure to have you on with myself.
You know, that was some hip intro music, man. I'll tell you what, is the show gotten even more hip since the last time I've been on it? Because the intro music.
We're trying to get on Dominic, Bramante's level, okay?
Right.
So and that's a hard level to get on to, but
That's true.
you know.
True. Hey, bro, it's been good since. How you been since the last time I've been on the show?
Well, let's just talk about the last time we were on the show. I think you were kind of showing a trophy off. So, you were in a nice first room.
So it's been a while then since I've been on the show. Because the championship is in the past, the grass is burned, we've moved on. We're into the 2019 season. We still got some good things ahead of us from the championship season, the banner. We're going to have banner night coming up, the ring night coming up. So we got some good things. But from a mental point of view, my staff, myself, the team, we've moved on from the championship. Now it's the grind of the 2019 season.
Well, and I agree to disagree with that because I thought you might have a little bit of a, championship, the word hangover coming in, and you had they'll go back to the first week. We got some highlights of this first week, but you came in and started where you left off.
Well, there is no championship hangover. Each season has their own identity. As you can see, our quarterback now is Donovan Portery, UNM great, and he's playing lights out, as you can see, throwing beautiful balls, stepping up in protection, throwing a ball there to the best receiver in the league, Diehl Davis. And there's Cedric Johnson. Cedric really picked up his game the first two games from last season. He's really become a force. And when you have multiple receivers that are forces, it's tough. It really stretches a defense out. And there's a young defensive end, Anthony Jackson that we have in a new rook. And there's Ced, been with us for a few years. Donovan threw a perfect ball where only Ced could catch it. Ced or it was going to go out of bounds. And then you see Diehl returning the kickoff. This is all against Wichita. One of the things that we've got great, there's the guy, certified, Jason Serta. Local legend, man. Local legend. And he's at the top of his game, man. One of the things that we pride ourselves here with the Gladiators is having talent. As you can see on those touchdowns, you always see number 60 getting to the receiver or getting to the back that scores, celebrating. That's the best center in the league. That's the key to what we do. The key to what we do is we look at the offensive line. We've got the best center in the league, number 60, Sherman Carter, best offensive lineman in the league. Flip it over to the defensive side. We've got the best defensive lineman in the league, number 11, UNM, Brett Bowers. Then you go to Jason Serta, linebacker, best MAC linebacker in the league, Jason Serta. Then you go to the defensive backfield. We've got the best DB in the league, Fred Griggs. Let's switch it over to the offensive side. We already said Diehl Davis the best at what he does. Donovan Portery is looking to become the premier quarterback, in this league. When you have that kind of talent, and it adds to the culture, and they buy into the culture of what the program is, you're going to win football games. And so we're very, very fortunate that our pros, these guys are pros, they buy into the culture of the program, and that's the reason why we've won a lot of football games here lately. Very proud of the fact of our last 23 games, Steve. We've won 20 football games. That's a lot of winning.
Very impressive. And then going back to that opening date, you know, a lot of, you know, I was concerned about a lot of distractions and you know, a good friend of yours, Coach Harbaugh, came in and spoke, and y'all had dinner. Kind of relate with that, and then how you kind of put the two together, and then came out with this performance you had against Wichita.
It's been rough, you know, the first month of the season. We lost our offensive line coach, and when I say lost, you know, he passed away, 32 years old, had a massive heart attack, Clint Wood. And so, you know, that rocks a team. You know, that rocked all of us. And then, unfortunately, a few days later, I lost my brother. Through it all, you know, our players have been pros. Our players have bought, you know, they've bought into the program. They bought into the culture to the point where, you know, you're proud as a coach when you say, hey, I don't even have to be around. They put their work in. You know, I coach the O-line, D-line, and those guys, whether I'm there in that group or somewhere else on the field, they're getting their work in, you know. And so when the culture's in, you get to overcome some of the things. Now, playing Wichita and beating them 76-24, did we think going into that game we were going to do that? Playing Amarillo and beating them 70-30, did we think that we were going to pound them the way we did? No. We left the locker room knowing we were going to win. I mean, that's the difference. That's the difference between the 2019 Gladiators and the 2015 Gladiators. When you leave the locker room, you got a little swagger about you, you know. And to beat a team with the traditions of the Wichita Force and the Amarillo Venom, outscoring them by 92 points, you know, you can get caught up in the hype. But these guys don't. You know, our guys don't get caught up in the hype. You know we got a tough game coming up Saturday against Oklahoma. We know Oklahoma's not showing up going, hey, you know, Duke City Gladiators are going to pound us. You know, they're looking to say, hey, we're a new franchise. Boy, what a great statement win and a franchise win that will, you know, set our franchise, you know, in place to go to Albuquerque and beat the Duke City Gladiators. So Saturday night's game is a big, big game. It's a big game for us, because it's our last home game for a while. We got to go on a road for 4 games, which no team's done that before, having to go on a road for 4 games. And so that's the thing where, you know, the culture is all about the challenge. And so we know that we've got to close the deal at home Saturday night. We've got to win at home to go on a road 4 in a row against tough competition from our conference. Coming back at the end of May, we've got to have the #1 seed coming back at the end of May. And that's going to be a challenge to do that on the road. If we can close out Saturday with a win, going on the road, you know, being undefeated, you know, we're up for that challenge. And so Saturday night is a big one for us, you know, playing Oklahoma.
You know, we're going to go to, you know, the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week, and then come back and talk more about Oklahoma, and I want to talk a little bit about that swagger you have.
Right.
We got numbers now. Miller going to go all the way and one. Comes Taylor. Taylor, a little step through in the lane, high off the glass. Diehl long, straight up 3, ring it up. And the double comes nice, no look to Garcia, yes. Away with it, but he threw it away. Here's Heckroth. Heckroth, yes! Boatman going all the way off the window. layup attempt, no, yeah! Gilliford puts one up to beat the horn, yes! Nylon! Heilman, then it's lost. Nice steal. Oh, Foster comes over from the weak.
To right field. Back to the fence. Looking up. That ball is gone. The Cowboys win it on a 3-run walk-off by Augie Francis. Mercy. Augie Francis does it again for the Cowboys. Celebration at home plate. The Cowboys win it 13-10 on a 3-run walk-off by Augie.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got Dominic Bramante, the head football coach of the Duke City Gladiators and CIF champions of 2018.
The top 10, exciting top 10, the AYBL. Was that ProView personality? Sebastian Noel.
You know what? He steps up with the big game. He steps up. I mean, you know what? And you talk about he's done a great job for for yourself and for.
He's been bringing the juice. He was bringing the juice at the AYBL top 10, man. That's for sure. Hey, he's the best here at ProView. Just ask him; he'll tell you.
Well, we have a lot of those. Okay, I mean, I got you talk about you being a coach. You talk about personalities and putting up with how good people are. I have the same issues that you have. Okay, so it's a good problem to have.
Well, Adam has been he's been quite the diva since the last year and a half. So, yeah, you have a tough job. You got to deal with those personalities.
But let's just move on though here with something you talked about was your swagger, and I wanted to compliment you and your again the word to me is professionalism in preparing for a game. People, I know there's a lot of things going on before the game. I think I love coming an hour before the game and watching the preparation. Watch the I do that in every sport I do. I really enjoy watching. The warm-ups to see if the team is mentally ready and focused to go in and compete in the game. And that's something that you talk about culture, but it's also your system, your coaching staff. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to make that happen.
There's no doubt. You having a sports background at a high level, pregame's important. There's so many different things we look at in pregame. You look at who's limping. You look at maybe getting some pre-snap reads and line splits and personnel changes, so much so that, some of our opponents like Amarillo knows I'm a pregame guy. Amarillo knows that I'm out there.
Look at this, we got Amarillo right here.
Right?
So.
And a little bit of a quarterback sneak there. Got good push by the offensive line. Here's Brett jumping the gun a little bit too soon.
This is your biggest rivalry, I think. Maybe
there's no doubt. They're 3.5 hours down the road from us. It gave me great pleasure to thump them last week. I mean, great pleasure. You even noticed that, at 68, we went for 2 when Ibrahim Maiga, another local guy, Manzano, ENMU. There's the great Nate Davis. We created a little pressure up front. They were having a jet sweep with Cedric Johnson. You could see the guys play with a great deal of passion. That's the thing. It's called pedigree.
These guys are so electric.
Yeah, Diehl Davis is the best, the best in the league. He is. He's a pit bull, and he loves when he gets the opponent to bite in on him. He loves when he gets the opponent to really talk back to him. That's when, we call that the juice, And then you see, look at Jason Serta fighting for that ball, and he got it. That was a red zone turnover, and that was important. There's Darryl Stoneham, University of Michigan kid, leading the block for Diehl Davis to get in the end zone. And how about that? How about that effort by Cedric Johnson, Iowa State kid? Ced's been with us for a long time. We've got pedigree guys, man. When you talk about the schools, not just UNM, University of Michigan, Iowa State, we've got Texas A&M. We've got guys that have played some of the best schools. And I think the fans that come to games don't really realize the pedigree of these guys, and
well, I think
when they see the athleticism.
I think they're learning that, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
okay, that's a good point.
I mean, you can just see the excitement. I mean, there's people that hadn't been to a game. There's electricity. I mean, even from last year to this year. I mean, from the year before, there's just a little bit more electricity. But it's like it's intimidating to come into the stadium.
John Harbaugh, as we mentioned a little bit, he was here 2 weeks ago. Was in the locker room talking to the men. John was pleasantly surprised when he saw, our guys. He literally told them, guys, you're just far away, man. I didn't realize that you guys look like NFL guys. I didn't realize I was going to see that. He told them, and we really do. And so we tell our guys, we're not a CIF football team. We're not an IFL football team, NAL football team, AFL football team. We're not one of those. We're a professional football team. And we just happen to play in a Champions Indoor Football League. Nothing against CIF. We see ourselves as pros. And we expect them to practice like pros. We coach it up like pros. Everything we do is about that perfect rep. Whether from a coach to a player, we've got to play that perfect rep. And we really every day in practice go after that. Today we were talking about juice, man. We were talking about both offense and defensively, intense. Our goal is to make practice harder than the games, to make the games easy. And so we get after it. That's the key to our in game, is how hard we work in practice. The staff does a phenomenal job. Martino Theus, Anthony Sando, Greg Shamus does a phenomenal job in preparation, film work. We work just as much off the field, as hard off the field as we do on the field. So we want to give these guys and let them know, hey man, this is the pro experience, and you gotta bleed for it. You gotta go take a man's job. You want to move up? You gotta go take a man's job. And that man doesn't want to give up that job. And that mentality is an on and off the field mentality, that you got to go take a man's job. That's what it's going to take. And so that's the key to what we do with the Gladiators, which is we just work. We go to work.
Well, your passion has been, your extension of your players. And you've talked about it today as your players are, they have a swagger, but it's a humble swagger, and they take it professional. Just everything you just said, you've made your players believe in your system and believe in what you are, and they know that this is work.
Our message this morning before practice was, hey, Monday's a film day for us, and so everybody watches. We all watched Amarillo, broke it down play by play. And the message to practice this morning is don't believe the hype. We found out we're not as good as we think we are. There's a lot of things that we have to improve on, a lot of things we have to get better at. And so that's what this morning's practice message was. Let's get better at those small things. And so if you would have showed up at practice, you wouldn't have saw a team resting on its laurels or whatever. You would have saw a team that's you're getting better. We buy into the Belichick point of view, which is do your job. That's what we buy into. 25 men individually, each one doing their job. And that's important. because no one's going to show up playing against us going, oh, this is the 2018 champions. You know, when we were on the other side of the fence, we looked forward to playing a defending champion, man. We looked forward to it because we knew this was a newspaper game. This was a news report game. Hey, the Duke City Gladiators beat the defending champions. And so now that we know we're on that other side of the fence, now that we know we got a label, man, we got to practice with that label on our back. We got to practice knowing, hey, when you're the defending champions, you got a swagger, but you got to earn that swagger, you know. And so that's, you know, that's a big key to what we do, that swagger that you brought up.
Well, Dominic, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this week's opponent and all the things that are going to happen this week to get ready for that game.
Let's go.
High school sports are back. The 2018-19 season kicks off, and you could watch every ProView Network broadcast live on the NFHS network. Every moment, from every game, from every sport, including all NMAA state championships. Get your highly discounted monthly pass now. Go to ProViewNetworks.com and sign up. Watch New Mexico's best. Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. Got Dominic Bramante, the head football coach of the Duke City Gladiators, and you know what a great morning. Thanks for that. I want to thank you personally for making my night walking into the Gladiators on the first night, and I walk in and I saw Coach Harbaugh and his dad there, and the first I came up because I always kind of have this that lets you know I'm at the game because I usually come watch the first half and then I go home and watch it and make sure it looks good on ProView Networks and Pluto TV and kind of critique our guys if it's something might be going wrong. But I just want to thank you for the taking your time before a big game to letting me meet him, and I got to talk to him for 4 or 5 minutes, and that was just a pleasure. And he kind of caught me off guard, but it really.
You didn't know he was going to be there?
I knew he was going to be there, but I didn't know that I was going to get to sit and talk to him, and that you would take the time and introduce me from your
you're a big shot, man. You're a big shot in town. I was asking you during a break, how many shows you've had here, man, and you said like 12 years of shows, 500 guests. I got to do my part to sit in this chair because there's been a lot of successful people, a lot of great people from Albuquerque that's been sitting in this chair, and so that's a lot of pressure. Talk about not winning football games. But being a good interview in this chair when you had the number and the quality of guests that you had. But, you're a personal friend of mine. And one of the things that was a goal of mine with Coach coming and visiting with me for the weekend and spending some time is I wanted him to get that Albuquerque feel. I wanted him to really get an understanding on where his brother is, being me, I remember when I first took the job, John was like, why are you going there? Or that, coaching at that level, why are you doing that? And I wanted to really show off and see what we've done. Show off and saying, hey, man, when you walk by, this is the guy that does the TV broadcast of it and the local broadcast. This guy does everything for athletics, which John appreciates, man. He loves guys like you that make a difference in the community. And so how could I not introduce you to him as a big shot and stuff like that. And so I even introduced my partner, Sebastian Noel, to him. And Sebastian, as articulate as he is, when he met Coach Harbs, he was articulate as can be. I was proud of him. I said, John, this is Sebastian. This is Sebastian, and move on, Sebastian, but, you're every bit as important to this community as, say, like, John Harbaugh is to his community. And that's not being dramatic. That's, you know, the service that you provide for the, you know, for the athletes, which, you know, myself and John Harbaugh, we love the athletes, man. The service that you provide to get them to be able to see themselves on camera, second to none, man. They're going to remember that stuff the rest of their lives, you know. And, you know, John had such a great, John and Jack, and I was real excited about Jack coming down because Jack is the superstar. And John and Jim will tell you that Jack is the superstar. I knew we had hit a home run with them when Jack was saying to John one night, the three of us were hanging out on the Saturday night. They flew out on Sunday morning, but Saturday night, Jack said to John, "How have we never been to Albuquerque before?" And that's when I knew, man, we got him to see a true Albuquerque, you know. And so John now knows the greatness of Albuquerque like I know the greatness. Why did I want him to see that? Because I want him to come back. And so, you know, he's pledged to be back next year.
Well, let's move forward, and you know, 2-0, exciting, good start, 2 home games, which protects your home court. I mean, home field, I would say, and you got Oklahoma coming in, and they're 0-2, and that. But,
2 close games.
Yeah, 2 close games. Played Wichita Forest and to a
should have beat Wichita Forest
59-55, I do believe. So
it was a late turnover, so it was a 10-point win, but it was a late turnover with less than 10 seconds to go in a game. They picked up the ball to make Wichita picked off, had a pick six or I'm sorry, it was a turnover with less than 10 seconds. Wichita put the ball in the end zone in the last play of the game, 10-point deficit, but that wasn't a 10-point deficit game. They outplayed Wichita, should have beat Wichita. Then the week before, they went up to a tough Omaha team. They drove all the way to Omaha, again was ahead most of the game. Omaha came back late to beat them by a 1 score. So Oklahoma's a tough team.
They're new in the league.
Expansion team. Their coach is a gentleman by the name of Richard Davis, whose resume is prolific. Exactly. His resume is prolific. Coach CFL, AFL. He's been around the league as much as I've been around the league. His team's going to come in here disciplined. His team's going to come here looking for that franchise-setting victory. And our goal is to snuff them out early, man. They're coming to the house of the defending champions. They better be ready to play. And I'm not saying that to be, braggadocio. I'm not saying that. Our guys are ready. Our guys, even though it's Tuesday, they want to play the game today.
Well, you had a bye week, so they're even more hungry. So.
Yep. And we realize
they're tired of those practices at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock in the morning. That's the reason why we were practicing. We practiced this morning. But that being said, we've earned the right to say Oklahoma better bring their A game. We've earned the right because it's only their A game that's going to keep it. If they don't bring their A game, we're going to play ours. And, that's the swagger that we had. It was funny, during a game, the official came out to me after we had scored. We had 68 points and we went for a 2-point conversion. The game was 68-30. And we put the 2-point conversion in because it was Amarillo. 3 years ago, I was telling the official, 3 years ago, Amarillo had a 2-score lead against us, less than 10 seconds to go in Amarillo. They called a timeout. Put the ball in the end zone for a 3-score win. Okay, we don't get mad, we remember. So when the official told me the other night, "Well, Coach, why'd you put that 2-point conversion in that? That's not like you." And I told him the story. In this business, what goes around comes around. Told him the story why we put the 2 on the board to get it to 70, because of what they did 3 years ago. That's where we're at as a program, man.
Well, Coach, we come to a close here, and I want to thank you for coming on.
It's always fun coming here, man. You would have think that the Steve Davis show would go for an hour format. You had Coach B on the show, for crying out loud.
Well, we're going to have to deal, and good luck, and go out and support this on Saturday night.
Well, we appreciate you. Hey, man, tell our fans, we need them out there Saturday night, and hopefully we'll give them a good show.
Sounds great.